Okay, I want to go through the middle draft now of the Shoah essay, and it's going to be a little bit involved. And so I'm going to shut the recorder down every now and then and do a little writing. Okay, I want to go through the middle draft stage of writing the Shoah essay. And I'll do a little bit of this in front of you, but please understand this was the early draft stage I did in the last video. And the big thing from the start is to decide on the parameters of your essay. And what you want to do is decide amongst the three areas that we watched for the video, between Chelmno, the early stage of the Holocaust, and then Treblinka, kind of in the middle, when they really started, working out the system, the former factory system, and then the Warsaw Ghetto. Okay, those are the three different areas, and you want to pick on one of those areas to focus on, and then get one or two witnesses to write on from that area. Okay, so what you don't want to do is take somebody from Treblinka and write about them with somebody from the Warsaw Ghetto, or somebody from Chelmno and somebody from Warsaw. Don't do that. Decide on if you want to do Chelmno, or if you want to do Treblinka, or the Warsaw Ghetto. Make that decision, and then get either one or two witnesses from those parameters, from that border. And let me show you what I did. What I did was to start writing on Auschwitz, which is what you saw in the first video. And I picked Auschwitz because it's not an area you'll be writing on, so I won't be overlapping anybody else's plans. I won't be taking somebody else's quotations. So I would stay out of their way. And it's not necessarily easier. It's actually a little bit more difficult, because I want you to encounter the witnesses without really knowing much about it, from prior, history and things like that. I want you to encounter them kind of on their own terms. So I looked at Verba and got 4 quotations from him. And you'll remember this from the first time, and this is it. I got constantly people from the heart of Europe were disappearing. He's describing what he was seeing when he was working as one of the worker Jews at Auschwitz. People were coming from all over, and why didn't they know what was going on? He didn't know. And I described it, and then I analyzed it, okay? So the level of fear that was used to ensure compliance, that was my idea. He didn't say that, okay? I was just wondering while I'm reading this, why didn't he say anything? And, I figured that he wouldn't have said anything if he were afraid he were going to end up dead seconds later. And again, he describes the guards, the Stasi there, as having guns. But they kept the guns not so readily apparent. And then I got this other quotation. Now inside the people, of course, you could not see the people looking through the windows. I took that because that's when the trains are coming up. And they've just been traveling for days. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And notice that one's about 3 to 6 lines. It follows my rule of thumb. This next quotation kind of violates my rule of thumb because it's a little bit short. But I thought it was fascinating that they were using clubs and sticks, and cursing, to get the people out of the trains. But you don't see the guns. And I thought that was so weird. So I took a little bit of a risk here, and I got a slightly shorter quotation. I like, again, the rule of thumb is 3 to 6. That usually works best. But on this one, I'm bending the rule a little bit, and it worked out pretty well this time. So be careful going under 3, but definitely don't go beyond 6 lines. You can almost, if it gets that long, trim it down, okay? So here's my description, and then here's my analysis, in that I decided that, they didn't take the guns out because they didn't want a panic on their hands. They just wanted to get them out, out of the train, and to get them scurried along. But they didn't want people thinking they're going to die because they didn't want that level of panic. That's my analysis, okay? So that's when my essay started to get some shape to it. And then I got this last quotation that I thought was the most fascinating one. So this is when the guards are telling him, will you walk out, please? And how nice that you've arrived. And what the heck? And that's what Verba was saying was happening when it was less busy. And so it struck me as this is when the Germans are turning it into a joke for themselves, and they're mocking the people they're about to murder. This is the dehumanizing that was going on and it had taken place over their lives, and what goes on with anti-Semitism, if not discrimination. They're dehumanizing them and making a joke out of it. So I got all of these. Now I want to show you the middle draft stage, which is currently under construction. Let me show you what I got so far. Okay, so the middle draft is built upon this. I've got 3 of the 4 elements that I want to cover. Now, for every body paragraph, it needs to have 4 elements. It needs to set the context, have the quotation, describe it, and then analyze it. In the early draft stage, we take care of 3 of those elements. We get started on 3. And then we add the 4th element, setting the context. And so this is the middle draft. And so now you have to set the context of each quotation. It's who is speaking to whom about what. And in most cases, it's the person speaking to Lawnsman and talking about, what their time either in Chelmno or Treblinka or something like that, okay, or whether or not, like Sukhumel secretly recorded and things like that, okay. And so I did that, and I've done it with the first one, and I just want to show you this because this is, again, under construction currently, and I want you to see this because the big thing is to be patient with yourself while you're doing this and know that you cannot just sit and write an essay. You have to really, in the first draft stage, we were taking care of the ideas. And now in the middle draft stage, it's going to start to look like an essay. It's going to start to. We're not going to put the format together yet because that's the last draft stage. But look at this. I set the context for that first body paragraph. Verba explains how the trains were not just coming in from Poland, but were coming from across Europe. He was surprised that no one who came seemed to know about what was going to happen. And so I'm setting the context. Now you know what's coming, okay? Here's the quotation. Now what I'm going to have to do, and I'll tell you what I did, is I just plain and simply, this is the first, let me go to the first paragraph. You'll see there's the quotation. All I did, and I'll show you this with the 4th, is I copied it. Control C, I do Command C. That copies it, and then I came over here and I just pasted it. That's all I did. And then I just pasted the description. Verba describes how the people are being transported. And you're going to see that here. Verba describes how the people. I just copied and pasted the quotation and then the description and now the analysis. What I'm going to do, and this is the primary focus of the middle draft stage, is I'm going to revise this description and then I'm going to revise this analysis. I have not done that yet. So I want to show you where I am. This is the second paragraph, and notice all I've done is transfer over the quotation in the description and the analysis. I need to write the context and revise the description and revise the quotation. And I need to do that with the 3rd one here, okay, or is that the 4th? Oh, that's the 3rd. So I need to do it for the 3rd one now. And this is all you do. Let's go to the 3rd body paragraph, the 3rd paragraph. That one's right here, okay? And all I'm going to do is select this, and this seems really petty, but it works. And I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to copy the quotation. There it is. Now I've got to move the description over, and this just allows my brain to shift into a new gear. I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to paste it. Now I'm going to go to the analysis for the 3rd body paragraph. Here is the analysis. Copy it, and then I'm going to paste it. And I'm going to be doing that for the 4th body paragraph. Here I already got the quotation, I guess. Yeah, I did already transfer the 4th over. I guess I just missed the 3rd. And so I'm going to work on these body paragraphs for a little bit, and then I'll come back in a moment. So give me a bit. I'm going to turn it off for a bit, and I'll come back in a little while. All right, take care, you guys. Give me a moment.